good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you, thank you. Hi, my baby. Hi, Fabian. Hello, Steven. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for logging on to Yasmin Homes. I had to do this video again because somehow my daughter mysteriously deleted it. Don't know what happened, but nonetheless, we're going to get this party rolling, okay? So, how are you doing? How's everything been going with you in your life? I thank you for tuning in to Yas Real Home today. I am energized, and it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, but it's okay because I'm going to get this done. All right, so I've had an interesting week. This week was very interesting. There's a lot of changes that has taken place, and I will be sharing that later on some other videos. But today, it's about questions to ask when choosing a lender. So I'm going to make this short and sweet because I need to get ready for bed. I've been up since 5 this morning, and it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, okay? But when you're about business, you don't sleep, okay? Until you get your life together. And I'm trying to get it together, all right? So today is September the 11th in memory of what took place a few years ago. My condolence. We've been, we've taken time out to pray and to remember our firefighters, our family, the different people that lost their lives, and the family members that are the surviving family members that are setting their time and setting a day aside to remember the people who lost their lives to this tragic terrorist attack on September 11th, guys. We are still praying, and we hope that you will find comfort in this time. I want to thank you again for logging on to Yas Real Home. Guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and to share. Also, for YouTube, subscribe, hit that subscription button right there, right below, okay? And I'm also on Facebook, Yas Real Home Boss Lady, okay? And I'm on Instagram, Yas Real Home, and on YouTube, Yas Real Homes. So yes, I've gotten that out of the way. We're just going to go straight into our topic. Questions you should ask, one should ask when choosing a lender, right? So we don't just want you to dive in and just get a lender, but ask questions. Number one of the questions are, what are the most popular mortgages you offer and why are they popular? Okay, so some of the reasons why mortgage may be popular may be because, oh yes, let's give props to Fabian, the credit guy. Okay, Fabian, the credit guy is the one that will get your credit right, just in case you're missing the mark and you're unable to get any loan at this current time. But if you allow Fabian Brown to help you through the process, I guarantee you will have results, proven results that will get you a loan, okay? So if you need any information about Mr. Brown, go to www.ucespp.net/fbrown21, okay? And I will leave that description below. All right, so what are the most popular mortgages we offer and why? One reason it can be fast, streamlined. Okay, maybe they move super fast and the process is not as long as other mortgage companies. Perhaps they have a special where it's 0 down payment requirement, or their minimum credit score may be 630 or 660 or 680. Whatever it is, it may be any of these reasons, or it may not be none of the reasons that I mentioned, but these are some of the questions that you should ask a lender when you're choosing a lender. Are your rates, terms, fees, and closing costs negotiable? You definitely want to target this because just in case the rates do change in between, you want to make sure that you have the opportunity to modify or change it, okay? And fees also. Fees are important because when it's time for closing, they're going to tag their fees on there. So you want to know what their fees are. Hello, Simone. How you doing? Welcome to Yasmin Home. Thank you for tuning in. Another question you want to ask when you're choosing a lender is, will I have to buy a private mortgage insurance? If so, how much would it cost and how long will it be required? Well, we know that most of the time that is a requirement if you are doing an FHA loan or you're doing less than 20% down payment. Okay, so that is one of the criteria to not have to pay for an additional mortgage insurance. So you want to ask the lender these questions. Number 4, what escrow requirements do you have? Most mortgage lenders have a certain requirement. You want to know this ahead of time before you even decide that you're going to go with them. Why? Because you may not meet the requirements. Hey, Mary. You may not meet the requirements. So therefore, you want to know this prior to you entering in, a contract or going with that particular mortgage or choosing that lender. Okay, do you do remote closing? Now, with everything that's going on now with COVID, there are a lot of stipulation. There are many different guidelines that we must govern ourselves by. One in which that we have to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and as well as the community and the people that we're serving. So, hey, Brown Eyes, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. So you want to make sure that you are aware of, whether or not the mortgage company does have remote closing, because there's a lot of that going on now because of this epidemic, right? Pandemic, not epidemic. Okay. Number 6. Number 6. Explain the process of closing with social distance. Sometimes people want to know, and listen, everyone is not okay with, coming into a building and not knowing what to expect or what the expectations are, what is the process, and making sure that we're practicing social distancing when you come into an office for a closing, if you choose to do it that way. So that is definitely important. If you're going to ask specific loan questions, I think you should ask, who will service this loan? Is it your bank or a company? I found this to be important because I didn't know this until after it happened to us, but it's after we closed, maybe about a few months later, our servicer was changed, and it happened twice in 1 year. So you might want to ask that question. Some people, I think with banks, most of the time it stays with the bank is usually the one that is the service that services the loan, but it's not always the case. So you may want to ask that question. You should also consider asking, how long will the rates on this loan be locked in, right? Will I be able to obtain a lower rate if the market rate drops during the lock-in period? I mean, that's important because let's say, for instance, your rates was, you got locked in at, 5.9 or 6%. I'm just saying hypothetically, okay? Right now, our the rates are super low. But again, let's keep in mind, I want everybody to please stay informed. Regardless of the rates being at what it is, your credit is a factor. If your credit is not, it's consider. You just understand that your credit has to be taken into consideration when you're considering the low interest rates that's on the market today. Okay, meaning that you need to be in the 700s, to be considered for a super low interest rate, right? How long will the loan approval process take? Right now, the loan approval process can take anywhere between 30 to 45, 60 days. I'm dealing with one right now that's taking a little longer than I've expected. There's a lot going on with COVID in the banks, and a lot of the processing is a little bit slower. So I'm just asking you guys to, be patient, but at the same time, you might want to ask the lender what is their time frame as well. Okay, and the last question, how much will I be paying in total over the life of the loan? This is very important because a lot of people don't know that you can actually add to your principal. Add extra funds to your principal. Why? Because that decreases the amount that you're paying and the time frame that you're paying, right? So now you can turn around within that same month and pay and drop another $1,000 or $100, and you better make sure, please make sure that you note that this is to go towards the principal. Period. If you do not say that, or if you do not make that note, then it's going to go towards the interest, which is not going to benefit you at all. And I also recommend that you follow up the following month, check your statement, and call them to make sure that the funds that you paid in addition to the mortgage, that that is to be allocated towards your principal. Okay, so I have covered the questions that I think that you should ask a lender. Should you have any more questions, please DM me, send me a message, and I will get back to you at my earliest convenience. You can also go to my website at www.yazrealhomes.com. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I pray that you guys have a safe weekend and that you will continue to look out for each other. You have an amazing weekend. See you next Friday. See you next Friday. Bye.